Yeah, Jono from Capital Edge. We're a boutique property research and education company that helps people find often off-market or investment opportunities within the residential space.
Fantastic. And you've been going for a little while. How long have you been going for again?
We've been going for about 8 years, but I've probably had over 2 decades in the real estate industry. Before that, I had a rent roll or a property management business across 5 states.
Wow.
We're in South Australia, WA, Queensland, Victoria, and New South Wales. And, my main role there was working with a lot of the wealth creation groups that are out there to look after the properties once a mum and dad investor sort of bought their investment property.
Yep.
And I guess that's where I did my apprenticeship with what led to Capital Edge. And I thought I can hopefully do this a lot better and help people create wealth through property, which I love.
Brilliant, brilliant. And in particular with Capital Edge, like what were you doing to, I guess, grow your referral partners before we sort of started working together?
Probably initially, we just sort of haphazardly came across a few referral partners. Like we had one accountant we worked with who would give us clients, and he liked the way that we, the sort of properties we sourced that got really good growth, had really good rent return and ticked all these boxes. And a couple of brokers that we worked with that we would refer clients to and they'd refer to us. But the business-to-business lead generation was probably 5% of our business, I'd say. And the rest was working with sporting clubs and social media and referrals and, just trying to get our name out there and get the normal sort of leads that a lot of companies do.
Yeah. So why did you feel like you wanted to do a bit more in that B2B referral space?
Well, the thing is, a lot of clients, and like I said, we're all about education. So a lot of our clients who would come along, the very first steps are explaining to them how affordable an investment property is, how you can, build a portfolio, what to do. So it's really that educational element. And then we have to find out their borrowing capacity. Can they even do it? Whereas we'd sort of seen that there was a few referral partners we did have, they were coming to us, they were qualified, they had borrowing capacity, they had a need already, and being referred to us by a trusted accountant or broker, it was a lot easier to convert that sale to someone, sitting in our office for what's so-called a first appointment.
Yeah, gotcha. And had you guys gone out there and actually tried to, you said it was a bit haphazard. Had you actually tried to make it less haphazard yourself? Like, had you done anything there before we started chatting?
Yeah, we do things like we present to quite a lot of local sporting clubs, which works quite well. We offer the club a kickback and present to the members. That's been quite a good thing. And we try to partner with a few people like Stephen Baker, who used to play with St Kilda. He's got a Build Grit, which we tie in with, where he talks about mental resilience, dealing with adversity, anxiety. And we tie that into, a lot of that comes from financial pressure as well, which we can help with. So we had a few things that we've been working on. But we really saw that business to business as a massive opportunity for us. We have tried ourselves. We've got a business coach who's really big on LinkedIn, and he's pushed me to get my LinkedIn profile looking good. But I just didn't have the time to sit there and send out, 20 invites and liaise with them when I'm dealing with clients, young kids, family, business. It would just sort of go flat and you wouldn't get much traction.
Yeah, I hear you. You got to be consistent. That's the name of the game. So before you gave us the green light to start working with you, I guess, what were some of the maybe concerns that you had in your head before, pushing the go button?
I think I was worried about the cost. I thought it could be prohibitive. Sometimes I thought it may involve me having to do a lot of work, like you guys might. Digital pipeline might start it up and then I've got to get heavily involved and I just didn't have the time. So I guess what you were promising, James, when I first spoke to you sounded really good, but my hesitation was the cost and how it would really work without me getting involved and my hands dirty, so to speak.
Yeah, and definitely valid reasons. What kind of kicked you across the edge to go, let's just give it a go? Give it
I think, well, speaking to you, we felt very comfortable and, you presented really well of what you could do for our company. And also, as I said to you, the fact that our business coach had pushed us on this for quite a long time, but not really getting that traction. So he was very much aboard as well once we, talked to him about what we'd spoken with you and what the steps were going to be.
Yeah, nice. And I guess, how's it gone?
Oh, it's gone like really well. We've probably been overwhelmed with how many business-to-business relationships we're working on at the moment.
Okay.
The appointments were, I would say, we've probably had a good 50 of them, and of those 50, I reckon 5 or 6 were a no-show. So they were all pretty much, I'd ring, they'd be ready for my call. And I think that's because of your follow-up as well, because they get that, 30 minutes till the call, 5 minutes till the call. And we've had probably a lot of them were brokers, a few accountants, a few financial planners. And I was actually also surprised how few of them were dealing with a company like ourselves. A lot of them already had, say, a buyer's agent, which we don't want to be. We want to stick in our lane and help educate and source quality investment properties, normally brand new, off the plan, sometimes 1 and 2 part contracts. So, yeah, we found it really successful. We're getting already some leads through our business-to-business partners, and looking for actual property and for options for them. So hopefully, if we have a chat, and I spoke to your offsider who's been really good as well, that our sales cycle is sometimes 2, 3, 4, even 5 months.
Yes.
So if we're chatting in another, 3 to 6 months, hopefully I can then monetize how the program's gone. But as far as leads and relationships it's created, it's been awesome.
That's fantastic. So how many kind of good referral partners, like referral partners with potential, do you feel you've got now?
I'd say we've probably got, of that sort of, say, 45, we've probably got about 20 that I think are good and about 12 that are excellent. So it's really now, the ball's in our court to drive that relationship. Like I said, a few of them are already referring us some clients, which is brilliant. And as I said before, the good thing about this is when they refer us someone, it's not to sit down and explain to them how to, buy an investment property, why it's good for you, how it can reduce your mortgage quicker. They're already on board with knowing they have a need. Which, as you know, referrals, buy quicker, negotiate less, have fewer objections. And, and I've made sure that we have, in that first call that we do with the business to business partners, I really explain why we're different to the other project marketers. So I had to make sure I had a good grasp on how we could help them and what we can do for them and why we're different. And there's been really good uptake on that. They've all been really positive, and they've said, we're singing from the same page, I think. For anyone who takes it up, the main work that I did before each call, which sounds probably pretty basic, but I'd always make sure I read their LinkedIn profile, I checked their website, and it was good because you could come across a few little, catchphrases that they use or what their niche is, where it ties in together.
That's gold. I love that you said that. Yeah, doing a bit of research beforehand just to make sure you know a bit about them and you can get on the same page. Was there anything else that you found, because you had 40 odd calls? Was there anything else that you found over the duration? Because obviously you get better and better at these calls over time, that worked particularly well for you, that you know?
I think finding out a lot about them as well, like asking questions about their business. And obviously it's hard because we've only got so many leads that we can give outwards with, clients who need financial planning or accountant's advice or a broker. But we have given out leads back, and we try and, farm that out where we can. So I guess finding out a lot about, them as well and how they could help our clients is really important, and giving them, that sense that it's going to be a two-way relationship, not just a one-way. And the other real interesting thing was the accountant and the couple of brokers we work with at the moment, we give them referral fees for referring us, which, is all well and good. But I was really surprised. I'd say of the 20 good relationships we have, probably 18 were not interested at all in any monetary reimbursement for a lead. They just wanted them to be looked after and ethically, and said, look, we think our businesses have some really good synergies. What you say is how we want our clients treated. We're not worried about, any financial reimbursement.
That's cool, because that's something a lot of people ask before they start up. Do all these people just want a kickback? Do they just want leads? So let's, like, 40 odd calls, good calls. You got between 10 and 20 of them. So between 25 and 50% that look like they're going to be good referral partners. And out of those, most of them didn't want a referral fee.
I'd say probably all bar one just said we're not interested at all in a referral fee. And I'm like, that's fine. And with our model, we'll say, as a valued client of XYZ Accountancy, what we might do instead of giving you a referral fee is we'd pay for your clients, the first year's landlord and building insurance, your independent building inspection, and your depreciation schedule. So, there's $2,000 value to your client for being referred to by you. So they like that.
Yeah, so because obviously it's got to be a win-win for both parties, and there's different ways to create a win for the other party. One is a referral fee, one is a lead back. Is there anything, the third way, just looking after their clients? Is that kind of the way? Have you had any other discussions about different ways that you can help them?
That's the main thing. They want their client looked after. Some of them, I always like it when we work together. I think it's really powerful if they get their client on the phone or on a Zoom or whatever it is and say, here's Jono, our property expert. We've done the back of house stuff why you need a property. Some of them like to be involved. Some like feedback. Some don't really want to know until they've chosen a property. So it's getting together and finding out, what works for them. And, then we followed up with quite a comprehensive email of what was discussed.
Perfect.
What the benefits are. We did a brochure up showing benefits of Capital Edge as a strategic B2B partner, and then take it from there. But I was blown away with how few people wanted any cash kickback. They were all very happy. Just let's get the right thing for the client. Because as you know, if you're an accountant referring if they buy a second property, there's more work for them to do. If they buy something in their super, they set up the super. There's ongoing audits. If it's a broker, they get another loan. So there is a financial benefit in us helping their client anyway. And most of them, like I said, 95% were just happy with that relationship.
That's brilliant. And you're a busy guy. You're very busy. How much time, this is something else people ask me, is how much time do you actually need to dedicate to this thing to give it, the love it needs to have success? Like, how many hours a week do you feel, give or take, have you been putting into this?
Being a small team, and I think I spoke to you guys about this about halfway through, we had to dial back the amount of calls and when they were, because I just basically said, book them whenever you can see my calendar free. And after the first 2 weeks, so to answer your question two ways, the amount of time I put into it before I got a call or an appointment was 0, which was awesome. But then after that, you do have to put time into it. So we dialed back and said only Mondays and Fridays I want appointments for the B2B, contacts. And that's let me stay on top of it, because it was almost getting too many, because you've got to follow them up. If they give you a lead, you want to do justice to it. We want to do our email back. We want a second call. So I'd say at the start, it was a couple of days. It was really cranking when I was after those initial meetings. And that's once we dialed it back. I think it was, if you've got anyone listening to this who's interested in joining, and working with the digital pipeline, think about the time it's going to take after the call.
Yeah, so with that, once we dialed it back and found, because we went way over your guarantee, but so when we dialed it back and found the happy medium in terms of Monday, Fridays for calls for you, including that first call plus the follow-up, just finger in the air, how many hours a week do you feel you'd been dedicating to this?
I think it would be probably like a day a week. So it would be 6 to 8 hours, definitely. With follow up, once we start working on the leads and ringing the clients and introducing ourselves, it's really sort of needs that focus. But like I said, these leads are worth their weight in gold. So we've got to do justice and nurture that relationship.
So that's including the leads. What about just for nurturing the relationship, like having the calls and nurturing the B2B relationships? How much do you feel, how much time?
Look, as we're getting it a bit more automated and sending them, because we want to make sure, if you just make the call, and quite a few of them said it to me, they said, we get these relationships and we have a great chat and it all sounds well and good. And then we talk to each other in another 3 months and do the same thing. So, you do need to put that time in. And now, we send out market updates. We send out property hotspots. We send out, where we're thinking the next sort of property cycle is going to be, and, information about the industry, interest rate rises, just keep us front of mind, because that's really important. So, I think, like probably of that, 5 or 6 hours, and then there's another, 3 or 4 with the clients at the moment, but hopefully that, grows.
Okay. That makes sense. And with the system, it's hard to, because this is not something people have generally done before, this, outsourcing referral partner generation. And it's hard to really understand how it works until you're actually on the other end, right? Like, I guess for you, from when we explained to you how it would all work to the actual reality, what's been, I guess, some of the better things about it in your mind that maybe you didn't really realize on the sales call?
The level of automation is fantastic. Even reminding me, which is good, because I'm busy and, I'll be out picking up my girls and then my phone goes ding, 30 minutes till your next B2B call. So I know. So, I wasn't missing anything. I was actually really impressed with the level of automation and the lack of input I had to have, which was really good and what I wanted. So, like you said, it's hard till you see it. The other thing I really like is your CRM. That we can monitor those clients with. And that's where I said, hopefully I'm talking to you in 6 months and we've put in the sales and the numbers so we can actually see the revenue it's generated. Because at the end of the day, we need to get sales. And I'm very confident that this will, pay for itself 20-fold. And
same.
and as you said, you got well over the quota of leads we needed. We're going to keep using your CRM and keep working on it. And we may revisit in 12 months. But if 10 or 12 of these referral partners, because we're a boutique business, there's just 3 of us in the team. That may be enough for us for a while. Because if we can get 1 lead a quarter off 12 different people, there's 48 leads a year. Probably 50% will convert. That's doubling our sales almost.
Yes. Yeah, and you're not selling like
a
Chinese dinner.
Widgets. Yeah, exactly.
We're talking
small low number of transactions, high value. So if we do our 3 or 4 a month, we've probably been doing 2 or 3, and I'd like to think this will lead to us doing more like 3 to 5 a month.
3 to 5 a month. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Last question. Someone's sitting on the fence. Should I, shouldn't I? Any sort of advice for them?
Yeah, I'd say definitely go for it, because doing it yourself is just really hard. And these guys take you through every step of the way. You organise what they're going to say through LinkedIn, what your messages are going to be. They don't, just do it ad hoc. They work with you. You work on scripts. Your backup material is really good as well. There's a lot of really good material on their portal. So, I'd say go for it. We haven't discussed pricing here. I think I'd leave that to you to talk to them, but I was pleasantly surprised it wasn't ridiculously high.
Yeah.
It was very manageable over the course of the project over the 4 months.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate that, mate.
No worries, James. And like I said, let's hook back in about 3 or 4 months when I can give you some figures.